So, again, to speak as a parent, I feel that moving forward with this project is certainly valuable. I feel that there are a lot of reasons for why it is a good time to move forward with this project. Yes, it's a lot of money, and just to note, I do appreciate seeing this process and realizing how vigilant this committee is with how taxpayer money is spent. I certainly appreciate that as a taxpayer of Alton. However, I am also concerned about making sound investments. And I feel that this is a sound investment, not only because of having 2 children that will hopefully still be there when this facility is renovated, but also as someone who plans to stay in Alton, who wants to see businesses attracted to Alton. I've only lived here for 6 years, and I've seen more businesses close on Main Street than I have seen open. I feel that having a school facility that would be a plus, that would be a positive for this community, and draw additional population, draw businesses here. I'm a private educator for a nonprofit organization based in Rochester, and I travel throughout northern New England doing programs in schools. So I would say in the last 18 months of being employed there, I've probably been to 30 different schools. And with very small exception, there isn't a building that I walk into that says, boy, this facility is a lot nicer than where my kids go. Now, that doesn't necessarily translate to a better education, but the perception of comfort, of feeling like it's a welcome place, feeling that it's a adequately climate-controlled place, that I can be up there in front of a group of kids presenting to 200 or 300 kids and not be sweating or not be freezing is a big deal. And when I hear that my kids come home and they're like, it was really hot in there, it was really cold in there, and I'm like, why are you thinking about that instead of thinking about what you should be thinking about when you go to school? So I hope that you'll take into consideration that yes, it's great for the kids, but it's also going to be a great asset to the community when you're making a recommendation tonight.
Well, to me, for a 4 or 6 person larger enrollment than what we had in '88, I hope that this fails, because I don't believe that we need another brand new building down there for $18 million. I mean, I think it's crazy to build another brand new school.
It's not a brand new school.
Not even renovate.
Just a renovate.
I mean, you're talking 6 more student enrollment than we had in '88.
Virgil, let the public put their input in. We don't need to give public back input.
Just to address that, and speaking as a Buildings and Grounds Committee member, a majority of the project expenses are going towards renovating that existing facility. There will be, is it 3 or 5 classrooms that will, 3 classrooms.
5 left, 3 used at the time.
5 will be left unfinished out of this entire project.
For a 6 student enlargement.
He's speaking.
There will be 5 classrooms that will not be utilized at this time. But when I think about how different education is now from when I was a kid, the expanses in just the types of programs that are offered and the additional space that's required for those programs, it's very likely that even without an increase in student population, those classrooms will be utilized within 5 years, say. So the other trend that I find interesting is that if you look at the U.S. Census data, Alton is one of the few Lakes Region communities that in the last 10 years, despite the economic downturn and despite the last couple of years where this maybe has not been the case, but in 10 years there has been overall growth in Alton. It's an attractive place to live. It's a place that people will return to or come here from outside regions. Like I said, I've only been here for 6 years. I spent most of my life in Philadelphia. I spent a few years in Maine and a couple in California. I'm here to stay. And I think that that's when people can afford to come back, when people can afford to buy property. I look around where I live now, and there's roughly like 26 or 29 vacant approved subdivision lots that don't have houses on them yet. You think those 29 houses get built, how many kids is that? And that's only in a very small section of Alton. Pardon?
Could be none.
It could be done. And right now we have 5 extra classrooms to accommodate those kids.
Yeah, but it could be none of them have kids.
It could be.
Don't know.
Hey.
I mean, I'm done unless
Okay,
anybody has any
thanks. Nope,
rebuttals
nope,
that I'm...
nope, nope, that's good. There are more?
That's all.
Again, I'm Rebecca McKellar. From what I understand it, when I was at the school board meeting yesterday, that 60 to 80% of this budget is for renovations that need to be done regardless. So I don't see that putting in a little extra money to make sure that we have room for a population growth that is most likely going to happen given our proximity to Concord, Manchester, that we're on the lake. I moved here 3 years ago because this is a desirable community to live in, and I tell people about how much I love Alton every time I hear somebody who's looking to buy a house, because this is a desirable community to live in. Fiddleheads, the business that just moved here, recognizes that Alton is a desirable community to live in. People are going to come as the economy improves. It's a no-brainer. And we need to be proactive and have a school ready to accommodate these children, because I don't want to see my children in class sizes of 30 because we didn't approve this.
Thank you.
Not even speak towards growth. My name is Kristi Hikel again, and I'm actually going to put on my hat as a teacher. I teach health. I teach 4 different health classes during the day in 4 different classrooms. I have to bump a teacher every time from another room. I move from space to space to space. And so not just for growth, not for new. Guidance also has to go into other people's classrooms and teach there. So please remember that there are also people that work in the building currently that do the best we can for our students, and we go to them. But it would be really nice to have a spot where they can find us, where we don't have to bump a regular classroom teacher from working in their room, so that we can give the students the best services possible. So it's not just growth when some of us are saying we need our own space. Does that make sense? I wanted you to understand that there are people that roam in the building. They carry books in carts down the hallway from room to room to go to the students.
But we've also taken classrooms over there and made them into offices, when the offices should be out in the modulars.
I'm just saying that it would be nice. There are many teachers that roam, but just...
Yeah, but that would free up classrooms.
Public input.
I know.
Thank you.
Just quickly, I'd like
Do
to...
you want any more, or?
I just wanted it to be clear that it's not just for growth, it's for what's currently packed into that building right now.
Okay.
I've been there 15 years. I've seen the growth. I've seen the changes up and down. We are tight in there.
But we...
In order to provide for the students, we
Okay.
would need space to give them the best. And I am all about providing students with the very best services we can. We have some of the best teachers. Now let's help them by giving them the space they need.
Thank you.
I would also like
Can I
to
say
just add
something?
Well,
In
okay.
'88, we had the high school in there. Now with just the elementary in there, you've got 5 or 6 more students. By your enrollments, we've only grown 5 or 6 students.
All right.
Just very quickly, since we're bringing up the issue of space, I thank everybody for the public input, but we didn't really address the fact that one of the crucial needs in the building is getting rid of the modulars and getting the students inside the building where we know that they are safe and where we know that they are in a healthy environment for learning. Part of the reason why, from what I understand in the history, is that we did have even more modulars when the high school was there, and we did remove some modulars when the high school left.
But why wouldn't the school move the offices out to the modulars and keep the students in the building?
Probably because of the supervision is greater in the building. We have 8 classrooms outside and 40 inside.
Mm-hmm. So the supervision's greater inside.
Unfortunately. We
Right.
try to get out there.
So you can-
Teachers are out there. The students aren't alone by any means, but will it be safer for them to be in the building? Absolutely.
Then move the offices out of the building and stop taking up classrooms with offices.
And we're outside.
All right.
My name is Linda Wilman. I'm a parent of a child at Alton Central School, and she started there in 1st grade. She's now in 7th grade. I can tell you that she would, this is going to get a little personal, but she would come home from school and want to let me know that she didn't want to use the restrooms in the building because of the condition that they were in. And I'm not just talking the cleanliness of the building, it's just the actual condition of being able to use the facilities. I won't go into any more detail than that. And she's a 7th grader now, and there is an absolutely gorgeous area that they can now go use those facilities within the building. But I think I would be remiss as a parent and a teacher and not trying to advocate for all of the other little people within that building that I know she's not alone in how she felt. I'm also a teacher at the school, and I can tell you that we moved here to Alton because we loved this community. We wanted the community feel. We love the community, and I was very fortunate when I got a job working for Alton Central School. I had the pleasure of working in one of the modulars. I worked within the school, and I also moved out to a modular. It is not something I think that is difficult for the teachers to deal with, because if you're a teacher and you're passionate about what you do, you will work anywhere. I think it comes down to the children. I know that there's some discrepancies about what we're here for. I am here for all of the students within the school regarding the budget and regarding the renovation. I can tell you that we need this renovation. As a taxpayer and as a mother, I would ask you to please consider this for all of the students within our town. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm Melissa McNeil. I'm a mom. I have 2 children at Alton Central School. I have a 9-year-old. He's in 3rd grade, and a 6-year-old in 1st grade. They love the school. They're boys. They don't care that the toilets don't flush every other day. But they tell me about it. And I'm not meaning to be funny. They think it's funny. I worry. I worry for their health. I also worry because I'm a teacher there. In my first 2 years at Alton Central, this is my 4th year, thank you. For the first 2 years there, I taught in the modular. The front one, where people think it's the office because there's a sign that says to office and they think it's pointing to my room. And it's like Linda Wilman was saying, if you're a teacher, I don't notice how hot it can be or how freezing cold it can be. But I do feel badly for the students when it gets over 100 degrees in June, when we get back to school in the fall, in September. When it rains, the kids can't sit near the windows because the rain actually pours into. I've never seen it before. My first year, it was pouring out. We had a really wet year, and a couple of the kids, it was raining so hard, and the kids didn't even flinch, and I turned around and I looked at them and I said, what's happening? What's happening to the roof? And they're like, oh, it always floods. And that was 3 years ago. And the last part, my modular sits right over the septic. And a couple days before school, we can't go in there because they've got to pump it out. And you smell it all year, that septic. And again, I can deal with it. I feel very lucky to have a job there. I love working, but those kids have no choice. And I'm just putting it out there. It's not about growth. It's about health and being safe and being able to learn in that environment that I'm worried about.
Thanks.
It is a dry well. It really is a dry well.
It's a dry well?
It's a dry well.
Is there more?
Doesn't mean there isn't stuff going into it, but it's a dry well.
Put some lime in it, kill the smell. Lime in it.
Rebecca McKellar, and I just wanted to point out that with the reason that offices might not be out in the modulars, and I don't know this for sure, but I know that there are standards of square footage that need to be met per student according to state and federal law, and that there's a certain amount of exits that need to be available within a room in order for students to be in it, and that might be one of the many reasons that offices are in the main building and not in the modulars. Also, when I go into that school, I'm nervous about the fact that the office administration cannot see who is entering and exiting the building. That's a real concern. Not, somebody coming in there with a gun is not going to go, oh, hi, office, I'm here, give me my name tag. So that's not going to happen. And we can't pretend that there aren't people out there that couldn't happen to our kids. Also, I've done out the math for what my increase would be. My house is estimated a little bit under $200,000, but I rounded up. So at a $200,000 home with the increase of 1.35% in the year 2014, that would be an extra $270 that I'd be spending in taxes, which would break down to $22.50 a month. I am more than willing to spend $22.50 a month so that I know that my kids are being properly supervised with people walking in and out of that school, and I know that they're in a comfortable environment. That's worth $23 a month to me.